Pam.
Hi.
Pam, can you hear us now?
Hello.
Still cannot hear you guys. I tried the X and it took me out.
How about click on mute?
Yeah, I did that.
Click on mute.
Hello,
Can
everybody.
you write her a note?
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Can you
Hi.
hear us, Scott?
Mom's having.
I can hear everybody
She
else
can't
so
hear
far,
us.
but not Pam.
Pam just muted
Yeah,
herself, but I
Mom can't
think her
hear us.
computer volume isn't up. So I think
I
if
see.
she were to
Okay.
click on a video, she wouldn't be able to hear it either.
I don't
I'm
know.
going to call her really quickly.
Okay,
Oh, that works.
good.
Yeah.
All right. You take care of
Oh,
that.
it's
I'm
so
going to
fun
go
to be
ahead
live.
and do our.
But it's so good to have them here
I know
anyway.
we're back live.
Oh, her
okay.
Look, guys, her mute button is on.
Yeah,
Look.
yeah. So she needs to unmute.
Right.
Yes.
And then I
Okay.
think her
Now can
volume
you
on
hear
her
us, Pam?
computer isn't on.
Nope, she just turned it off again.
Hello.
You're muted, Pam.
You're
I
muted.
muted her
Oh,
so
you
that
did. Okay,
they can.
so they can talk.
I
Okay.
did. I muted
Okay.
Pam
Okay.
Oh,
so they can
Sarah
talk on
muted
the
Pam.
phone, so I can
Okay,
get going.
I think I'm going to step away. I think that you're muted.
Yes, now I'm back.
I muted.
Yes,
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah.
It no longer has a red X.
Okay.
Everything
let's
looks
see.
good.
Sorry, Jennifer.
I think it's the volume for her computer for her to listen. That's
So
I
off.
hear
volume on
somebody.
Pam, can you hear us?
Yeah, I do hear somebody.
Okay, good.
Oh,
I think I hear you, Chrissy.
Oh, just a moment.
Okay, let's
can you
see
guys
if
hear
there's a
Pam yet?
place.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear her.
We
Yes.
just want to make sure she can hear us.
Yeah.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
Hi, Dara.
So good to see you.
Hi, everyone.
hi.
I'll be with
There.
you in
Okay.
a little bit.
I got rid of my background from my phone.
Let me see
We're
if I can get
having
the
some
sound
reverb.
up. Might be the problem.
Pam, we can hear
Chrissy?
you fine. Can you hear us? Pam. Pam, can you hear us?
Oh, okay. We got to get going, and I'm not sure where
Right.
we're at.
Pam, can you hear us?
Katie, I'm going to ask you if you could do the intro because I am completely frozen up on my end.
Okay. So, welcome to the Pet Pro Educators. If you are on Facebook, make sure you give StreamYard permission so that they can,
Guys,
so
just
we
go
can see your
on.
names in the
When
chat.
I'm on, I'll be on.
We're just having some technical difficulties with Pam. Let's see.
The Groomer's Cut is every Monday night at 7:30
Yes.
Eastern.
Thank you, Jennifer.
We just had a whole bunch of folks come back from Pasadena and Groom Expo
Yes.
West. So that's that's. I hope that a lot of people. This is Groom Expo West. 2 years ago is where this whole broadcast, the show, and the Pet Pro Educators thing all started. Was
Yep.
at the Groom Expo West meeting between Dara Forleo and Michelle Knowles came up to me, and the rest is history. Then we started gathering all these amazing people. So,
Pretty awesome.
okay, now who did we lose? Oh, we just lost Pam.
Oh, we lost
just
Pam.
lost
Well, I know at least Scott Lauritzen knows a lot about
Yes.
what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yes.
Hi, Scott.
He's like, here I am.
Hello, Chrissy.
We got started talking about some of our favorite things.
Mhm.
And last week, you guys,
Okay.
I had a great conversation on everything from tables to, all sorts of more unusual conversations. But tonight we're going to be talking about one of our favorite things, which is the SuperCoats line, which we are all big fans of. I use it. Scott and I talk often. And
Yes, we do.
SuperCoats, for those people that don't know, Scott Lauritzen is the son of Pam Lauritzen. And while he's a great professional in his own right, he has come to work in the family business, all to our good. Pam Lauritzen, let me just say personally, let me let me geek out for a minute here. I
Geek
worship
away.
Pam Lauritzen. I would not be here without Pam Lauritzen. I was, just a show dog groomer, she came to, because of her friendship with Patsy Edmondson. I was high school teaching in San Antonio, Texas, and working for Patsy Edmondson on weekends and summers and holidays, teaching in her grooming school. And she said, we're all going to go get certified master groomer. And then we got like this 5-day stint with Pam Lauritzen. And, that's when my life as a groomer started. I learned so much from that woman, and I have not stopped since. She is truly one of the most brilliant, amazing assets to the industry ever. She is the shoulders on which we stand. And it's so true. You are. Can you
Absolutely.
Pam?
Way too kind.
Yeah.
Way too
Oh, good. You can hear me. Okay, that's good.
And I love
Yeah, no, I was just saying how I wouldn't be here without you, and how you are the shoulders on which our industry stands. I don't think a lot of people know that Pam really is responsible for the whole groomer certification. I know there was a lot of people that collaborated on that, but Pam has really done so much for our industry in terms of, for me personally, raising the science caliber, making it
definitely.
really, putting in the actual, content that we would need to know if we were going to real certified schools in states that required groomers to be trained in that way. We'd be taking tests on skin and products and anatomy and things like that. But Pam was introducing that to our industry right from the beginning. So anyway,
Yes.
Dara had problems freezing up, so she sort of stepped out. So
She's been having trouble with some internet.
Yeah. So we're going to host it without you. But what we just to give Scott and Pam the lead in, Chrissy and Katie, you guys were on for the full show last week. I was only on for part, but we've been talking about our favorite things, products and tools and equipment. And so you want to kind of give us a run up from last week, Chrissy or Katie?
Go ahead, Chrissy.
That was pretty much it. We talked about a variety of tools and products that we really like, things that we can't do without. Even some of those older things, like just a high velocity dryer as a great tool that I can't live without. But the products came up too. And I know right now I've only used the SuperCoats line a couple of times, and I really liked it. So we were hoping that you guys can tell us more about the line. And anything else, of course, because we have Pam Lauritzen here. Why would we not ask everything, But to tell us more about that line, because I know that many people aren't familiar with it yet. So
I'm using Dermapure every day on every dog.
Oh,
yeah?
Jennifer, good for you.
Nice.
Yes. Why I developed the line. I've been teaching skin and coat for how many years, guys? Around 40 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's even been more than that, but we're not going to talk about that, okay?
You look great.
We'll just let that go. I decided for every year I get older, I'll get younger.
I just locked in at 18.
Yes.
You can join me at 18. It's fun.
Yes, I love that. When I was
Nice.
growing up, I decided 16 was the age.
I want to look as good as you now, much less when I get there.
I tried to stay at 16 as long as I could, but it was getting old after a while.
Well, 18 you can vote, so
And who wants all those teenage problems anyway?
Oh, no, thank you.
Celebrate our age.
When you are doing all of this great teaching and training that you've been doing about, and Pam is also a lot responsible for starting for us to think of ourselves as stylists as opposed to just groomers. Which is, I think both are names of great pride, but
it brought a different level of professionalism.
It's that level of artistry.
When I began, our industry was very poorly looked upon. As women, which the majority of our people in our industry at that time were women. And as women, we could not, and even if you were a man, because I know my husband was partnering with me and we both tried, but you couldn't get a loan in this industry from a bank if you needed help getting started. Where did you get that money? Nobody wanted to loan it for you. They didn't think of us as a profession.
And for so many years, we were a wifey hobby.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And every so once in a while, the IRS wants to treat us like a hobby, you know? So you have to keep watch on that, because if they make us a hobby, that's the worst of all things. But at any rate, when I was coming up, there were no opportunities for us, none. We weren't even a profession at that time. We were still just in our infancy, our little baby years, and it was hard to find help wherever you looked. And so that made me angry. It made me angry, particularly when I wanted to get a loan. Now, did I need the loan? I didn't need the loan at the time because we had money in the bank. But the only way the bank would loan me money is if I used my own money and pay it back to them. Can you imagine? And then they were going to charge me a very high interest on it. And I knew, even as a businesswoman then, that was just absurd. But also during those times, there was very little education. You guys are so lucky right now.
Yeah.
Right
Now,
on
what years are you talking about when you started? Like,
Late
tell us
70s, right?
the 70s, I
Yeah.
think, maybe the
Okay.
60s even.
Yeah.
But at any rate, whenever we were coming up through that industry, there was just no education. You couldn't find it anywhere. In fact, the only way we found education where I was, which was in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois at the time, was we had to
My
develop.
family's hometown.
I loved
really?
Illinois.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And
That's where I was born.
Yeah,
Hey.
you were.
You and my parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We absolutely had to develop our own seminars at that time. There weren't even seminars. There was nothing. And you guys out there have no idea how lucky you are to have people like Jennifer, like Chrissy, like Dara, like Scott Wasserman, like so many, Vero and Terry DiMarino, and all these people that are out there now trying to give us all an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, even when I started in the mid 80s, I mean, I had 3 or 4 books. I had just found out about the NDGAA. Like that, it was like still so small,
Absolutely. The only books I found at that time was Shirley Calstone.
Shirley Calstone. Dorothy Whalen.
Ben Stone. Remember that?
Sam Cole. Dorothy Whalen.
Cole, yes.
Dorothy Whalen's book.
Well, she came a lot later, but Dorothy did come with her book.
That was one of the ones I had when I started in the 80s.
Yeah. So when
Diana is saying in the chat room, Courtney Bushy. Yeah,
exactly. So when we wanted to develop education, where could we go but to ourselves? And so that's what started this whole mission. And early on, I just had an incredible vision of what I wanted to see the industry become. The first thing was professional, because at the time we were not considered professional. And a lot of us in the industry have worked very hard to give us that recognition as professionals. And I hate to see that thrown away by anybody, because I know how many people have worked for it. You see how passionate I am when I get to this stuff. It's why I can't stop, because we still have such a long way to go.
But we've come so far because of you. The books you've written, the videos. I remember some of your earliest videos, and I still parrot you when I'm teaching somebody. Just the way that you had this one video where you're teaching people how to scissor, and it's comb scissor. It's not scissor, 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 scissor. It's comb scissor, comb scissor, comb scissor.
Yeah.
And that's
I have some of your
drilled in my head.
I have some of your stuff on VHS.
Yeah.
Well, the only way I have just been really blessed because there have been a lot of people that have contributed to the growth of this industry. So I can't take claim for all of it. But I am so grateful for the angels that are out there that continue to contribute and continue to want to become professional, and are
after you did all of
satisfied.
these, Pam, after you did all of these amazing videos and books and developed certification, groomer certification, all of these things that you did and putting the stylist part in our industry, where we're looking at balance and geometry and the angles and the breed standard of the dog and doing corrective grooming for style and things like that. All
Jennifer,
of the things
that each step of the way, as I was developing these materials, people were going, "Oh, nobody will understand that. Ergonomics, groomers can't understand ergonomics." Boy, did that make me mad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like
there's still a lot of people who think we're a bunch of dum-dums. And
yeah.
No.
Exactly. And so at any rate, I was very fortunate. The University of Illinois was in Champaign-Urbana.
Great veterinary school.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they offered me all kinds of help. I got very close with Jack Tuttle, who was the director at the time of the department where they had to work with the general public. And so he gave me exposure to people that most of you would never have had exposure to. And so that was how I was able to do the research on skin and coat and animal behavior. I mean, he introduced me to some of the most wonderful people, and they were all helpful. And so
when did you want to take all of that knowledge about skin and coat and actually start your own line of products? Like, what was the transition to that?
Well, as I was teaching skin and coat all over the United States and other places in the world, actually, as I was doing that, people would come up to me when they saw me at seminars, and they'd say, "Pam, I've got a dog and it has this condition or that condition." And they would say, "What should I do?" Well, I knew that this was a person who had been in our seminars, but they still were not able to figure it out because there were so many products then being developed. I mean, just go and look at the Petco shelves or the grocery store shelves and look at how many products are up there. Can you imagine how confused the general public is? Mm-hmm. Oh, we've got a long way to go with the public. And
it's overwhelming how many things are on the shelves.
Yeah. And most people will actually try to select their products by opening it and smelling it. Oh, if it smells good, okay, I'll buy it. But
right.
Or they're shopping based on, I think oatmeal feels soothing. I know one customer of mine got a hypoallergenic shampoo because they had a hypoallergenic dog. I mean, there's so much wrong with that, right? And they're trying their best.
I agree with you.
In a market that's flooded with things.
I think some of it is buzzwords. People follow buzzwords, whatever those might be at the time.
Oh yeah.
By the way, that guy there, Scott. Yeah. When I had my shops, he was my best bather dryer. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
he
I
came
remember.
Up in the industry as a baby. Before he could hardly stand at the tub, he was bathing dogs.
I was literally born into this industry.
Other things after that,
yeah, he was.
I was born into it in the 70s, back in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. So his mom was very active. I don't know. Many people, I think, in the industry don't realize that my mom was the first certified pet stylist in the world.
Yes.
Back in 1974, because she co-founded PPGC, the first certifying nonprofit organization, and they nominated her to be the first certified groomer. And then in turn, she became the first certifier in the world. And when I was 1 year old, I mean, I literally was born into this as she was pioneering the industry. And it's been part of mine and my lives ever since.
Yeah, we drug them everywhere, to Jerry's show, and to all the shows that were available then, which were
Scott never had a chance.
By the time that I met you, Pam, in 1985 with Patsy Hutchinson, you know, you had this thing down. This was an amazing, amazing education for, a good and serious groomer like myself, but someone that just, the fact that we don't have any credential at all and that you helped us create that is just extraordinary.
When I was there at Patsy's, I had bronchial pneumonia. And that's why I was having to sit down.
You remember.
I could barely breathe.
All I remember is that I learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
So at what point did you realize, looking around the industry, that, maybe you needed to develop your own product line?
After people being very confused about what products, because I really didn't want to develop a product line. I felt there were enough products out there that everybody surely could, with the knowledge of skin and coat and learning how skin works, I felt like everybody should be able to choose between products. The truth is, it's too confusing, and they couldn't. And so I felt that we needed a product that made sense, that went with what I was teaching, and went along with the theories that we had, and sort of took a lot of the confusion out and the guesswork out of which product to combine.
And for timeline.
And if I have this situation, what product do I need? And so, as Scott says, and actually he's bringing me up into the 22nd or 21st century, whichever one this is, he's dragging me into it. But at any rate, that, there was just so much that people could not figure it out, even professionals. And that's why your customers have such a hard time. If you can't figure it out, how can they?
Right.
Right. So I felt like we needed something that we could use and that we could put on the shelves for our customers to take home with them. That would not be confusing. That if they had if their skin was normal, then they would use our normal line. If their skin was dry, they would use our Renew, which is for dry skin. And if they had skin that was oily, they would use our Pure line combined with our one of our conditioners that really went back to how oily is it, So at any rate, that's why it was developed, and I'm so glad we did. I really am, because
we are too.
I'm seeing it help a lot of people figure out what's going on. We also,
and this was in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
early 2000s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then I developed the book and the audios and the computer CD to help people be educated in skin and hair, because there was nothing at that time. I mean, there was no education on skin and hair for us. And do you know how hard it was to do the research on that? Because even the medical libraries had so little available. About the best source that I found was actually in forensics, because Jennifer, for you, the forensic people have listed a whole category of hair types and how they look under a microscope, so that they can identify different breeds.
Hey, before and Scott, you can chime in here a second. I just wanted to say hi to some folks in our chat room. Sarah, our beloved Sarah George, and hi Diana and Kathy Clark Gonzalez. Scott, she says that you put her on Spotify.
I did what? Sorry.
Scott put her on Spotify. Is that a joke?
I put her on Spotify,
Pam?
I think she's trying to say that he should. Yes.
She should have her own podcast.
Mom,
Yes.
But
if you want a podcast, I can guide you.
Scott, you're
thank you very much.
The SuperCoats line. What are you finding that people want to know about it and stuff? About the SuperCoats line.
Great question. Well, one, I mean, aside from the basic introduction to the line itself, getting to know how to use it, what's included, etc. It's mostly about just usage tips. How long should I leave this specific product on, and how to use it best for generalized versus localized conditions. So when I find that people are actually getting to know the product itself, if that's what you're asking, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure I answer your question. But once they know about the line in general, the next most natural thing people start wondering is, well, how do I decide which products to use generally versus locally? Because unlike many other products in the field, many of the SuperCoats products are designed to be just applied to a localized region that's affected, an affected area, let's say a hot spot or an oily patch at the base of a tail. And Pam designed these to be able to mix and match them if you know what you're doing. So, you don't want to be treating for an itchy skin condition over the entire animal if the rest of the animal is just fine and it's healthy skin and coat, for instance. So we have different shampoos and conditioners that can be mixed and matched to achieve the best desired results. And the natural questions that I get is, what's the right way to mix and match these? Which shampoo, which conditioner, and followed up by which specialty products, are the right way. So it really very quickly goes into very detailed questions about how do I handle, mostly I think, localized conditions. It's easy to think, oh, okay, I have an animal, it's itchy everywhere. But if you have an animal that has a hot spot, between its toes and something else going on its belly.
And that's one of the things I did with our product line.
What should I use where?
Yeah, that's one of the things I did with the product line. There were so many products out there that had everything in the bottle. I mean, you'd read the bottle and it would have vitamins and aloe and all neem and you name it, it was in the bottle. And for a while vitamins were the big thing. For a long time aloe was the big thing.
And then we rinsed it out and put a conditioner on top that didn't have any of them.
Exactly. Yep. So I worked very hard at taking out all of that stuff and putting into the bottle only what was needed for those conditions. For example, if you have dry skin, what do you need? You only need to exfoliate, because dry skin gathers dander. And so you need to get rid of the old cellular tissue and exfoliate. And then you need to hydrate that skin, don't you? Because dry skin is dehydrated. So that's why water became such a big concept in our system. And that's what Scott calls it. And I like that term. It is a system of products. It's not a product.
And how many products are there? Was it, I'm trying to remember. There's a shampoo and conditioner. There are 3 different types. And then there is some spray and
go over the list of all of the.
Yes.
What are they?
You're trying to choose what product lines to go for.
Just in case this came up. Sorry, it's not the best display option.
It works.
There's 10 pet products and there's 1 human product, which is a hand lotion, since most people in our industry are prone to really torn up hands, having them in surfactants and water all day long. So we make a wonderful non-oily hand conditioner, hand lotion for the other 10 are the pet products. There's 3 shampoos, 3 conditioners, a detangler spray, a VapoClear, which is a mild astringent for ears, anal glands.
Oh my God, that VapoClear is awesome, guys.
VapoClear is my life.
Yeah.
So what is that one for?
It's for oily skin mostly, and it also has an antimicrobial in it. So those gooey, oily cocker ears. Not only can you clean the ear out using the VapoClear and getting rid of the internal oils, but you can also clean those ear furnishings off. And the way you use is to take sterile gauze and just pour some on the sterile gauze and wipe the oil off the surface of the skin. Now, so
is that something you do before you shampoo or during your shampooing process?
Yes, and we also recommend that if it's a shedding dog, that you card it. Even those little Shih Tzus, the Shih Tzus that get that little oily spot right back here, the base of their neck. If you will first card, just come out and take out the dead hair. What's going to come out with that dead hair? oil
The dirt and the
And
oil,
dander,
yeah.
and bacteria. And
I have to tell you, my
microbes.
favorite use for VapoClear
Mhm.
is, and we use it for all of those things you've described, but we also keep one on each station. And what we do with it is, invariably, when you're doing 30 dogs a day, and they're going through the bathing and the drying process before they come to the finishing work on the table, and sometimes they have little leaky accidents, like they slobber around their mouths, or they get leaky from their rear ends or something. I mean, VapoClear saves me from having to rebathe dogs all day long.
Yeah,
I use
Scott
it
Lauritzen swears by it for anal gland odor. He says it takes it away.
It completely cleans. If a dog has a little leak out the rectum, gone.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Gone. Yeah. And I think, honestly, you probably could use it for skunk odor. Has anybody tried it on that yet?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
How did it work?
Yeah,
it worked really well. The parts that are the hardest to get, I also microbubble, and I know you have partnered with TheraClean, Pam, over the years. They are amazing. So I bought a TheraClean machine because of the skunks that we get. Tons of skunks on the North Shore of Chicago, and most people see 4 or 5 in their career. I'm seeing 4 or 5 a day, sometimes of the year.
Oh, wow.
So we actually do a lot of that. But when we can't get the microbubble really in good around the mouths and stuff, because they're spitting it out and stuff, I mean, that's where I use, I can take it to all of those kind of hard to microbubble areas too.
Well, remember what VapoClear is going to do is it's going to remove the oil. I mean, it's going to lift it. It's an astringent, not a degreaser, an astringent. So it's going to lift that oil off. And then once it gets rid of the oil, it's going to clean up all of the microbes and the bacteria and yeast and fungus that naturally inhabits the skin, and that the dog can easily get a breakout if it's not in good condition. And also those little pustules they get, if you will spot treat those pustules, first card the coat and then spot treat them with the VapoClear, they'll go away. You won't see them anymore.
Yeah, and if I might, so
go ahead, Scott.
Just do a quick, to really answer your question. I'll do a quick walkthrough of everything very quickly, and then we could dive back into other specific topics, if that's all right. So I'll just kind of take it from the top and do this more organized. So we have the DermaPure products. Let's see if I can get these in here. It's a shampoo and conditioner designed for, it's a daily go-to hypoallergenic is what those are for. And this will be the 30-second walkthrough. Then the
Just
Renew.
That's what I put in my Prima tank every day.
Yes, that's the one you should be using as a primer before you treat the dog for any skin condition.
Yes.
And also for oily skin. And the reason why I say for oily skin is because we're recommending you use the VapoClear first, and that you card the coat on a shedding dog, which will get off the oil, and then come back and use something very, very gentle. Because when you start saturating the coat with degreasers, it's going to start a cycle, and the dog will get oilier and oilier. Have you ever seen that, where you can't hardly get them out of the shop?
Yeah, the more you shampoo them, the more their body manufactures oil.
The more you strip it away, the more their body says, "There's not enough oil. Build more."
Exactly. It's a natural reaction to all of those chemicals.
So poor Scott, he showed us the Pure.
Okay.
The conditioner shampoo.
So there's
Renew. Okay.
Here's Renew. Everybody loves Renew. Generally speaking, it's great for itchy, dehydrated, dry skin. And then there's Relief.
And what it does is it exfoliates. It also has an anti-inflammatory. So if you see that the dog is inflamed, make sure to let that soak on the dog for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it will relieve the inflammation and the itching. And it does have an antipuretic in it, so that will help relieve the itching a bit.
So Scott, one of our listeners asking, Groomer Jen is asking if the DermaPure, that's hypoallergenic, is it also fragrance free?
Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Yes, it does have. We used rose hip as a brightener.
Natural fragrance,
Yes,
not
it's
any
very
magic.
natural, but I've yet to see dogs break out with it.
And this is one of the things that I've seen, because I've
Yes.
not been quite as long as you, Pam, but I have been grooming for over 40 years off and on. And I can tell you that the number of chemical sensitive clients, forget the dogs. It's about
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's huge. We have a, fully probably 10, 12, 20% of our clients that we have to use fragrance-free products on. And we use the Derma.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
That's right.
Jennifer. And you
Exactly.
have
It is
no
truly
idea how many shops I walk into and salons that are using these products that have aloe in them, that have all these fragrances and vitamins and all kinds of things, and they're using it on every dog.
Yeah.
Well, you can easily start a problem. And then if you sell that product to your customer and they're washing them at home in that same product, you can only imagine what's happening.
Yeah.
So
That's right. That's right. And by the way, the Pure, even though it's fragrance free, just like the rest of our product line, it smells wonderful. By the way,
it does.
Yes,
it does. And, well, I know you know, Jennifer. You use it.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Some of the other fragrance-free products that I've tried smell like chemicals because they don't have a perfume to cover up.
Yeah, they smell just like soap.
Yeah.
It's like soap.
Well,
right. Exactly.
I want you guys to remember something. When you're formulating a product, there's a difference in chemicals. Some all do the same thing, but some do it gently. And others do it harshly. There's a strength issue also. How strong is that in the product? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 1%? So is it effective even? Sometimes people put things in the product just so they can put it on the bottle, and it might only be 0.2%,
Right.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that a lot of these ingredients that we're adding for a purpose happen to have a pleasant scent or no scent at all. But I think people think unscented, but that's really strange too. Like things have scent.
Yeah,
that's right.
And sometimes some of the harshest chemicals that have no scent can be hazardous to the skin. It's not just about the things that are cleaning. It's also about the things that are a preservative. What are they using as a preservative? Now, we went through a period in this industry where everybody wanted to read labels and everybody wanted the manufacturers to label their things, right? Which I agree with. I think that we should. However, one of the things I learned during that period is that every time a manufacturer puts something on the label, they have to pay with it for every state that they're selling that product in.
Oh, I didn't know
that. Now, some manufacturers just won't put it on the label, even though it's in there, because they don't want to have to pay the penalty for it being on the label. So not only that, but I'm trying so hard to get people to understand it's not about how many chemicals are in or not in. It's about what are the effectiveness of those chemicals.
Right.
What are they doing on the skin? What kind of action does it have? Is it exfoliating? Is it antipyretic? Is it anti-inflammatory? What is the actual effect that chemical is having on the skin? And then using those products effectively for whatever situation you have.
Diana here is in the comments says that her customers always like the smell on the SuperCoats.
Oh,
they just smell clean. Yeah.
Right, they smell clean. Exactly.
So Scott, what else do you have?
What's next, Scott?
I'll get through the rest of the walkthrough, and then I'll add a fact that don't let me forget. I want to add a fact about our primary surfactants, but I'll throw that in once I finish the walkthrough. Okay, so to backtrack, we have our Pure line, which is the daily go-to hypoallergenic, good for healthy skin and coat, achieving it or maintaining it. The Renew line is for itchy or dry skin, dehydrated skins, generally speaking. Then there's a shampoo and conditioner for each of those. Then there's the Relief line. Sorry, my camera's inverted for some reason. So
it looks good.
Looks good.
Yeah. So their Relief line, shampoo and conditioner, is generally speaking for oily skin, or cellular buildup issues, or issues, skin conditions that have progressed beyond just mild itchiness into something more severe. Then come the specialty products. There's the Vapor Clear that we already spoke about, mild astringent, great for all kinds of things that you guys enumerated. There's a detangler spray, pretty obvious what that's for. It's also great with heavy duty mats, not just tangles. Moisture Plus, which is wonderful for hydrating.
Oh, I love Moisture Plus.
Yeah, it's 5 times filtered, deionized, demineralized water, and which is wonderful for scissoring. It helps, I can't tell you how many stylists tell me it really helps them actually just scissor and achieve a nice clean scissor effect. But it's also great if you are treating an affected area, not put tap water on it, which may come with bacteria or other things that you don't want to be introducing to the skin. So this is really good for situations like that. One more product for the pets, which is the perfume. Also, even though it's a perfume, fragrance-free, Pam designed this fragrance-free and hypoallergenic as best we could. It uses essential oils for the fragrances rather than real actual fragrances. And people tend to love that as well. Then last but not least, the one for the people, which is Serenity. Come over here. There we go. Serenity hand lotion. Yeah,
I tried that. Weekends ago.
This is wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
tried it a couple
greasy.
weekends ago. We're like, ooh.
Oh yeah, you guys know. It just has that wonderful silky effect on your skin. It soaks right in, doesn't leave that buildup behind, like a lot of other things.
It's my treat at the end of the day for my hands. Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. I love it too. Everybody I know who tries it loves it. And then the note I wanted to make about the surfactants. Our primary surfactant in all of the ingredients is cocamidol propyl betaine, which is simply a coconut oil derivative. It's amphoteric, which means it has both positive and negative charges on it. So it's great at attracting anything that may or may not be on the skin, dirt, debris, oil buildups, etc. But it also does so very mildly, and in line with what Pam was saying a while ago. There's a lot of surfactants, but they do things to different degrees.
One of the things I really appreciate about Scott,
it is one of the most expensive surfactants also that we could have put in there. That's the other reason why you don't always be gentle.
So in case people don't know what a surfactant is a family of molecules, and I should let you do this, Scott, because you're the scientist. But
that's okay. Take it away.
It's surface active agent combined into one word, surfactant.
Yeah,
it's anything that acts on the surface of something without chemically altering the thing itself. So every kind of cleaner in the entire universe is a form of a surfactant, and they all have different molecular forms, but they all have in common, am I right, that they have one end, and you taught me this, Pam, one end of the molecule that grabs hold of the hydrophobic, doesn't like water, but it grabs hold of dirt and oils and other things. And then the hydrophilic, the water head of the molecule that washes away when you rinse. So it grabs hold of things and then it washes it away. That's how soap works.
Exactly.
And as something that has both a positive and a negative element to it, it's being highly effective, because not everything is all positive and not everything is all negative. So that's why we elect the esoteric.
Yeah. The idea in general is you want to create what's called an emulsification, for those who don't know. And to do that, you really want molecules that Jennifer described nicely that are going to grab the water on one end, grab the material that you want to remove on the other end, and get carried away nicely with the water. Because your oil and water don't mix. Most people know that. And it's the same thing if you're trying to remove dirt, debris, and other material oils from animal or human skin. You're trying to get stuff to go away with the water, to mix in solution with water that doesn't naturally want to mix. To do that, you need some sort of catalyst molecules that will grab both. And that's really what surfactants are all about. And Pam took many years of she poured all her life's experience into finding and choosing the right molecules in conjunction with experts in the field, and went through over 2 years of immediate field testing with the top people in the industry. After coming up with prototype products for the SuperCoats line. And, she put it in the best hands of the people available in the industry at that time. And they extensively tested this stuff so that every product included in the system actually achieves the desired results.
Hey, so Scott and Pam, you have a great question
I'll
from
take my moment and brag about Pam. Mm-hmm.
My friend Sarah George, fellow
that's
Illinois,
it. I was going to say
another Illinois groomer. She wants to know where to purchase it and any advice or research on using your products with different water quality. And if you're like a rural groomer and you're on well water and you've got heavy mineral content or whatever, I think everybody, when you open a grooming business, whether you're grooming from home or mobile or you're in a salon or whatever, you're in a veterinary hospital, you're in a big box store, you should do a water test. You should test your water.
Sarah, I love you.
Yes,
I have
indeed.
what a great question. And I have spent a lifetime researching water. And I could tell you some things about water that we tested all over the United States. But you sound like someone who's been to one of our seminars. And we do talk a lot about water and its effect on skin and how the different
and
elements
Sarah's in a mobile unit
in water.
Sarah is mobile, so
well, then that poses even another question, because she's limited in the water that she has available to her through the day, but also the type of it gives her an advantage because she can be a little more selective about the type of water that she uses. And but yes, water plays a huge role in mixing with any product. And you should have your water tested. You want to know the pH, you want to know the mineral content, and you want to know the microbe content. We all think there are no microbes in our water, but that's not true. The government says we can have up to a certain percentage. Sometimes the microbes that are highly damaging to our bodies and systems. And keep in mind, what's going to affect us is going to affect a dog and cat much more quickly because their skin is thinner.
Mm-hmm. Scott, where can people order?
I'll quickly add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Well, I'll quickly add a point to what Pam was saying, which is I would also say, in addition to everything she just said, also use the product, the water that you have to see how well it's achieving the desired effect. Is it actually relieving itch? Is it actually clearing out oil? Is the animal over time healing and becoming healthy again? And if it's not, take the information you learn from the water testing to make informed decisions about what, if any, water filters you actually need to apply in your situation. And then the other part is easy. Where to get it? SuperCoatsProducts.com, please. We sell it directly at SuperCoatsProducts.com. That's all you got to do. Once people have an account set up, you're welcome to text me orders. We also can set up recurring orders. And it's as easy as a text once we get an account set up. That's right. We do recurring orders with Jennifer. And I try to do that to try to make it as possible. Because
you know what I love?
Having grown up,
I just discovered the Dermapure. I just discovered the 5-gallon option for my stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What kind of dilution rates are they?
That's right. We have it from the 30-1 and 15-1, depending upon the product. The daily go-to, the Dermapure is 30-1 is what we say on the bottle. Now, without saying any names, we'll say we have a lot of people that, depending upon their exact mixing machine, where they're at, if they're mixing by hand, what's going on, they do deviate a little bit from that. Mostly down to 40-1. I've even had some people tell me they're diluting at 50-1, and they love its performance at that. So it can be diluted out thinner and still achieve very, very effective results, which I'm really happy to hear. Like anything else, we recommend people figure out what works in their hands and their environment with their mixing machine. But it's in that range, 30-1 to 50-1 for the hypoallergenic, and 15-1 to 31-ish for the and relief lines.
Keep in mind that whenever we tested water all over the United States, we found areas where the water had high salt contents. We found in the mountains they had high mineral contents. We saw a variance in pH of the water. Remember, some people have soft water with a lot of salt in it, and salt will make things bubble. So if you're using a lot of salt in your softening system, then you're probably not going to need as much. You know, some people have very hard water.
Right.
So much depends on.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Water. Go ahead.
It does.
Sarah
and,
writes
you know,
that she has a high sulfur well water.
Shampoo.
Yes. That was a good point, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about high sulfur well water, and that's interesting. Yeah.
If you have high sulfur or high iron content, keep in mind that you're pouring that on the dog's skin. And you're pouring one part of our product to 30 parts of your water. So the product will perform differently under those situations. And it may be that you need a filtering system, or you need a softening system, or something that will adjust your water pH and your chemical content and all of those things. Yeah.
Right.
And sulfur is not a good thing to pour. If it's a high sulfur content, that's really not a good thing. And you can smell it.
Oh yeah.
High sulfur content, you'll smell it. You'll know
it turns light colored dogs red sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to live in a farm with well water, and I went from being a blonde to a redhead.
Yeah.
That happens to me too. If I bleach my hair, mine turns red too. Very high iron content in my water.
Wow.
Yeah, we have been so blessed as an industry, Pam, that you took interest all those decades ago in actually bringing some real education, dermatology, medical research, and bringing all of that to groomers who, for the most part, they learn to, they maybe learn to breed patterns, and they learn the tools and equipment and things, but primarily what we are is topical dermatologists.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
Very little training is devoted to the things that you talk about.
That's why I called our organization International Society of Canine Cosmetologists, because to me, that's what we are. The majority of what we're doing is helping to keep the dog healthy. That's number one. Your clients will love you. Clients are so busy now, aren't they? They don't have time to brush their dogs. They don't have time to keep care of a long coat. So what are all of you getting? Make it short. Get it shorter. I need it shorter. But the one thing that they do notice is when their dogs develop sores and start scratching and shedding all over the place, and
or smelling bad.
Smelling bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before we get them beautiful, let's get them healthy.
Yeah, and it's amazing how well or how nice a healthy animal smells. It feels good. It looks good. It's petable. It smells great. Its health is a really amazing thing for all of us, no matter what kind of animal we're talking about. And that really is the end goal with the entire SuperCoats product system that Pam designed, is health, and either maintaining it if you already have it, or achieving it if you're not there, and using the minimum amount of ingredients necessary to actually achieve that desired effect, which is health at the end of the day.
Yep.
So that's the whole philosophy behind the entire system.
I want to ask you about something specific in skin and coat. Dr. Cliff of Yves Saint Bernard, who's done, also some wonderful, made amazing contributions to education about skin and coat for groomers. He talks a lot about the sebum layer.
Yes.
And that sebum is that natural oil that's created by the sebaceous gland that's inside every dog's hair follicle. Can you talk about how your product affects sebum, what sebum should do, how much there should be, how much there shouldn't be of sebum? Could you just speak to the sebum issue?
Yes. Okay. Well, one thing you need to remember is the hair follicles generate oils. They have a sebaceous gland and they have an apocrine gland, and the job for those glands is simply to produce the oils. Now, those oils, as they're being produced and become abundant, they attach themselves to the hair and they're wicked up to the surface of the skin. At the surface of the skin, it melts down and it helps to hold cellular tissue together. So it's very important that you have that layer. But if something's going awry with the glands, like they're not producing sufficient oil, now you're going to get dry skin. And dry skin, what does it do? It doesn't have the oil to keep it, where's my hand? It doesn't have the oil in order to keep those cells together. So they spread apart. And when they spread apart, that's when they start shedding excessive cellular tissue. Now, what the dog does is he gets itchy. And what do dogs do that are itchy? They chew, they scratch, they rub. They do all of those things, now irritating the surface of the skin and the surface of the hair follicle. If the gland is producing too much oil, then you have the reverse. Now it just collects on the surface of the skin. And whenever you get that much oil collecting, it begins to alter the surface pH. Well, there are a lot of microbes growing on your skin naturally, yeast and bacteria and fungus. If that little biosystem becomes unbalanced, because what they're doing is they're on the skin surface to help eat up excess cellular tissue and to keep one another in balance. Well, once that gets out of balance, what do you think happens? Now we get little bacterial infections or fungal infections or yeast infections.
Yeah.
And so now we've got a whole, so keeping that whole system, I call it a little biosystem, keeping that all in balance is our goal. That's what we should be trying to do. And we should be educating our customers so that they can also contribute to that at home. Because they're only coming into you, what, once every 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, you know? Mm-hmm. So you don't see them in between, and the dog goes out, it rolls, it scratches, it chews, it, you know, it's active. And so
I don't want to interrupt.
Katie, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that we only have like 4 minutes left.
Oh, well, then I will quieten down. And one thing I do want to say before I leave here is you have, with this group of people, Jennifer, Dara, Katie, Michelle,
Chrissy,
the whole,
yeah.
Chrissy,
yeah, we got a great Mindy, yeah.
This is a wonderful group of people that are trying very hard. They're putting all their free time, they're volunteering their time most often, and to trying to help with the education of this industry. If you see them at a show, please go to their seminars. They put on excellent seminars, and you will love them. You will love them. Don't miss
you, Pam.
Okay. I'm very fortunate to be blessed by a lot of wonderful people in my life.
We learned from the best, and that's you.
We're very fortunate to have learned from
my quick 2 cents.
I think you have a book out, don't you?
Wait, yes, Scott, go in. So you froze.
My quick 2 cents is simply that I'm really thrilled to see that you guys are carrying on this education, that you're so committed and dedicated to it, because I was obviously influenced heavily by such by a like-minded person here growing up. So we need people such as yourselves carry on and champion education in our industry and help it become more of a real industry, maintain that image internally and externally. So thank you.
Well, Scott, I'm just really grateful that you have been able to take the SuperCoats line on and do such a good job getting it out there, because it's a great product. A lot of people don't know about it, but you're changing that. So that's great.
Yeah, I didn't have time.
We hope to help a lot of animals in the process.
That's this wonderful line and no time.
Yeah, and it sounds so straightforward too. It sounds like it's a very straightforward system to use, and I really appreciate that. Yeah.
When people are using the product, if they have questions, they can always contact Scott or myself. Sometimes I will send step-by-step directions back. If you will send me a photo, I need a close-up, and one that's back
Wow.
away a little bit.
Consulting with the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I do that, be forgiving because sometimes it'll take me weeks to respond, but I will get back to
Yeah.
you.
That's pretty
And I'm not going
instantaneous. Yes,
I
Matt, go
try,
ahead.
and I do great with that. So I really am committed to customer service, supporting people in every way we possibly can. So just reach out and contact me, and I'll do whatever I can in my power to introduce you to things, help with things, anything that we can to help. We're here for.
SuperCoatsProducts.com,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you.
And if you're not reaching me, call
Call
Scott. And Scott will make
Yeah,
sure.
and
I
Pam Lauritzen at petstylist.com. And Pam, really quick before we go, are we having a Pet Pro Classic in Dallas this fall?
Yes, it is.
Yay!
The dates.
I'm excited.
Do you have dates?
Yes, yes. What are the dates, Scott?
Yes, we
Scott.
do. We're actually, I wanted to wait until tomorrow, but
Oh.
I'll just say it.
Give our
We're
viewers
very soon. We're going to start advertising. Dates are September 30th through October 3rd. Okay, and we will very soon. September 30th through October 3rd.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
The 2022
Can we
U.S.
tell them
Pet Pro
the other
Classic.
great news, Scott? Can we tell them the other great news? You
About the
know.
show?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
tell us.
Tell us.
look, I'm not tomorrow. I think I'm going to be prepared to make our official announcements. I'm sorry, guys, but one
Okay.
day we need one more day.
That's okay.
But you
Okay.
don't want to miss the chance to talk about it. So
Where
it
do
is
we
a
tune in
wonderful.
tomorrow to hear the announcement?
That's right, and it's an exciting, wonderful new venue. We're making some interesting new creative introductions to the program. We just can't be more thrilled about the show. Like, there's so many exciting things in the works coming, guys. You're gonna love
Wait
the
till you
location.
see where it's going to be.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
my
gonna
God.
love where it's at.
So where?
I'm
Well,
honored.
I think I
Exciting
speak for
location.
everybody when I say we are just
Mhm.
thrilled that you guys came on with us today. It was a
Yes,
joy
thank
having
you
you
so
on.
much.
To be here.
Thank
Thank
you.
So much
Thank
for
you for
all
having
the
me.
great information and
And
some
thank you for
really
having
exciting
me.
stuff.
Thank
Yes.
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
And Jennifer, we will be announcing all over the internet. So
Okay,
we'll be
good.
using
Well,
all
great.
the groups. We'll send you an announcement and we'll send
Yes.
everybody.
We'll look
Yes.
for it, guys.
Okay.
Woohoo.
Thank you,
Right up.
Pam, for all you've done for our industry. Thank you, Scott, for carrying on this amazing education and product line. And
course, it's my
thank you guys so much for all you've done for the grooming industry, for all of the dogs and people that have benefited from
Well,
your work.
thank you for continuing it. And Dara, you have been so silent back there.
I have. I've been behind the
Yes.
stage tonight, so.
Dara's
I was
done
here.
many seminars at our show, and she is excellent. When you have the opportunity to see her, go see her, okay?
Yeah.
She's been
Thank
so
you.
good.
Thank you guys.
You guys are wonderful. I love you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody in the chat room, too.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
great
you,
job.
everybody.
I won't be here next week. I'm going to be on a Star Trek cruise.
Yes, thank you, everybody in the chat room.
Ooh.
So jealous.
I know. Chrissy, I knew you of all people would appreciate that.
Yeah. And since we're geeking out, I just want Katie to do at least one Galileo. Come on, it's you're the queen background here. Like, all I can see is a face and black.
I know she is. I was that
Right?
too.
It's a queen joke, guys. It's a queen
That's a
joke.
riot. How much fun.
All right.
Thanks, Scott and Pam, so much.
As stylists are fun.
I am going to end it. I'm not going to do our. Oh, I'm going to
Thank
try.
you very much for having us, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And we've
We're
Great.
gonna do
Thank
our
you so
closing
much.
Credits, Dara.
Yep, we do.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Oh.
Bye-bye.